Sonic Racing CrossWorlds is an amazing racer, and for the 100 hours that I have on the game, I have been having a lot of fun, and it's really cool to see all the collaborations and free DLC characters that the game has gotten, and the ones that are still on the way. And I can't wait to see how the game continues going forward as time passes. But that's not what I wanted to talk about today. Sonic Racing CrossWorlds has a problem. And it's not with the game itself, but it's a specific feature in the game that many people do have somewhat of a problem with. That being the jukebox. The main problem people have with the jukebox in the game is how it handles which songs play. If you didn't know already, how the game handles music is that you have to select a playlist and put it in one of the 3 slots that the game will give you for either the first, second, or final lap. But the game will always play them on random, not including the final laps. So it really feels like you barely have any kind of influence on what songs play, especially if you pick a playlist that doesn't have more than 2 songs in it. There is a way that can help somewhat, but it's still kind of broken in its own way. The favorites playlist is where you can, of course, have a playlist of songs from any other playlist that you have favorited, but there's one single playlist instead of being all over the place. But as I said before, this also comes with its own set of issues that mostly carry over from every other problem that the jukebox already had, being that it always selects which songs play on random, no matter the order they're in. This isn't a problem with the final lap tracks, mainly because they can only play on final laps, but when it comes down to everything else, it's just all over the place, and it's kind of funny how Sonic Frontiers had a better jukebox despite having to be added in an update. In contrast, CrossWorlds somehow has fewer features despite being new. I'm not saying there wouldn't have been complications, considering Frontiers and CrossWorlds are completely different games, one being a racer, the other being open zone, so they had to find a way to get it to work for the 3-lap structure in the game. And in terms of that, it's just fine, but nothing amazing, and they definitely could have made it better. And considering Sonic Team are really open to feedback on Sonic Racing CrossWorlds and everything else, I'm hoping that this is one of the things they could in some way make better, or just give a few more features to make it feel more complete. Because it's kind of strange, it's missing loop, shuffle, and an option to play songs in order as options in the jukebox. But if we're being literal, it practically is always on shuffle despite there not being an option for it. I guess they really couldn't think of any other option to have it permanently on, am I right? Unless I'm just crazy or something. But now I want to discuss ways that they could fix the jukebox and make it better, though if you think my ways to fix it aren't what you think would be best, just leave your ideas down below in the comments. First, they need to add options for loop, order, and shuffle, and in the case of shuffle, just make it its own option. Frontiers having these options but CrossWorlds not is just very strange, especially for a jukebox, considering they are essential options for something like this. These would be amazing options, especially for the favorites playlist. And second, I think they should make it so that in a playlist you can divide certain songs into their own category. For example, if I wanted to play E Stadium, Wonder Museum, and Pumpkin Mansion only for the first lap, while also playing Crystal Mine, Kronos Island, and Aqua Forest for only the second laps, I could easily divide them into that section. And if I wanted to stop listening to a specific song from that section, for example, E Stadium, I could remove it from the first lap section, while also being able to put any either song that's still in the section on loop, or make the whole section shuffle, or easily play them in order of how they're placed in the section. I understand that's convoluted, but you gotta admit I'm onto something at least. Anyways, that's probably all I wanted to talk about in this video. Never expected it to turn into a whole yapping session, but I guess that was the whole point of this video and I wouldn't have made it otherwise. But if you made it this far, congratulations, you made it through my yapping and can finally move on to something else instead. And if you were just using me as background noise, I guess I'm fine with that, only a little. Anyways, like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in my next video if you stick around.